In this video, we will install and configure Git, create a GitHub account, and set up SSH access to our student server and to GitHub, and install Node.js. This is going to be on a Windows 11 or higher, and you will need your CNM email address to do this. First thing we're going to do is install Git for Windows. We're going to go to this link here, which is git-scm.com, and we're going to click Install for Windows. That will take us to a page here where we can click here to download. And while that's downloading, let's talk about Git. Git is version control software that runs on our computer to keep track of changes we make in our projects. Also helps us collaborate with others. We're going to go ahead and click next there, and then we're going to accept where we're going to install this. So we'll click next here, and then we need to make a change here, change this uncheck open Git GUI here. We want to just use Git bash. These steps are also listed here on our DDC Web Curriculum website. We'll click next, select Start Menu folder. Yes, this is good. Just click next on this. We want to use Vim as our editor, so click next here. And then we want to make sure to override the default branch for our new repositories. And we want to set it so that our branch name is main, M-A-I-N, and click next. And here, adjust your path environment. We want the one that says Git from the command line and also from third-party software. So click next there. We want to use, in choosing the SSH executable, we want to use the bundled open SSH. Click next here. Choose HTTPS transport backend. We will use OpenSSL library. So select that and click next. Configuring the line ending conversions. We want check out Windows style commit Unix style line ending. So our first one here. And then this one, we want to use Windows default console window for configuring the terminal emulator to use with Git bash. Click next. Choose the default behavior for Git pull. We want the first one fast forward or merge. Choose a credential helper. We want Git credential manager, which is already selected. Click next. Configuring extra options. Enable file system caching is checked. Enable symbolic links is unchecked. We'll keep that. We'll click install now. This will take a minute to install. And we can select launch Git bash and unselect the view release notes. We don't need to see that. All right. Before I click finish, I'll describe what we just installed. We installed a couple things. We installed Git, which is version control software that allows us to keep track of multiple versions of our code. The other thing that we get is Git bash, which is a terminal that we can use Git commands in. And that's what we're going to launch here. So click finish, and it opens up a terminal. Yours won't say this here at the top. Now our next step is to verify that Git installed properly. We're going to enter this command into this terminal. It's git space dash dash version, G-I-T space. And in the bootcamp, we refer to dashes as tac. So in describing this, I would say this is git space tac tac version, and hit enter. And this command checks the version of Git that we have installed. And it should come back with a version number, similar to what I have here, or a higher number. And we're going to enter in these commands also. You can copy and paste them, but there are some parts we need to change in the first two. We need to do the first two of these commands individually. We can't do it all at once in 4 lines at the same time. To copy, we can select it, type Control-C, click back over into our terminal, and type Control-V, and that will paste it. You can also, in a Windows terminal, right-click, and it will paste. We need to change what's in quotes here. And here you need to put in your CNM email address and then hit enter. And there will be no response if things went properly. Then we need our next line here. I'll copy with Control C. And this time I'll right click over here and that pastes it. Either way works, right click or Control V. And this name is going to be public. This is the name that's going to be on your Git commits. Your Git commits end up being a public record of who did the code work that's being submitted. Now, this is not just in the bootcamp, but this is in your coding career. This will be public on GitHub. So you want this name to be a professional name. Usually it is similar or matches your username on GitHub, which we haven't made our GitHub account yet. And you will also there want a professional name. Now, your GitHub account and the projects you have on GitHub are your portfolio that employers or clients will see. So this is going to be public. So you want a professional name, and you may want a name that is identifiable to yourself. So I, on GitHub, use my actual name. And that way, if employers, clients, prospects find me on GitHub, see who I am, and look at my resume, the names match up in a meaningful way. Right now, hit enter. And these last two commands, we can just copy and paste them. We won't have to edit those, so we could do them together. So I'll select them, hit Control C, click over here, hit Control V and paste them, and enter. These two commands, they do a little bit of what we already did in our configuration when we were installing Git. Here we set our main branch or our branch, default branch to main, like we did in the initial installation. And this sets our pull strategy when we pull from GitHub. Now, these were already set up in our installation, but in case we got something wrong, we went ahead and added these in here to configure our Git setup. Now we're going to set up our SSH key. We're going to do this command, but of course we need to change this email address. So I'm going to go ahead and copy the first part of it and paste it over here, and I'll enter in my email address. This email address is our CNM email address matching our GitHub account. We're using our CNM email address with Git up here and with our GitHub account because we get some discounts and benefits as a student from GitHub. And then we'll hit enter and it will ask us, where would you like to put this file? We want to accept the default. Now this is generating an SSH key, which has two parts. It's a key pair. There's a private key and a public key. To use this key, we will need a passphrase. I'm going to hit enter here, and it's going to ask for a passphrase. We're going to be making a passphrase, and a passphrase is longer than a password. We're going to save this passphrase. It needs to be unique and not used anywhere else. You will need to get a password manager, something like Bitwarden or Dashlane or LastPass. All of these have free tiers. We'll be working with some large passwords and passphrases and API keys. So you'll want a password manager to store these. Go ahead and get a password manager now if you don't have one. When we enter the passphrase here in the terminal, you will not see what you're typing, and you will not see any placeholder characters like you see when you enter your password on a website with the string of asterisks. So someone looking over your shoulder will not see how long your passphrase is. There is no way to recover your passphrase. If you forget your passphrase, we will have to make a new SSH key. So I will enter in a passphrase and hit enter, and it will ask for my passphrase again. Go ahead and enter your passphrase again. All right, now we have an SSH key. We can start the SSH agent with this command, eval. Go ahead and copy it, paste it here, and then we can add our key to the agent. We just go ahead and copy this, paste it here. This is the first time we're using our SSH key, so we need to activate it. Every time you use your SSH key, begin a session, you'll need to activate your SSH key using your passphrase. So I entered my passphrase, and now it's activated. Now, we'll need to copy our public key. There are two parts to this SSH key. It's a key pair. There's a private key and a public key. The private key is in a file here with this name. The public key is in a file here, ending in .pub. That's our public. If you want to see your public key, you can use this command, cat, and the next character, cat space tilde. It's this little squiggly line. It's found on your keyboard above the tab key, and it tells the computer that we want to start out here at our home directory. So in our user's home directory, there's a directory called .ssh, and in that directory is a file called id_ed25519.pub. In that file is our public SSH key. So when you hit enter, it will display your public SSH key, and we can copy it and use it later. We're not going to copy it just yet. We have some other work to do in the terminal and copying and pasting. We want to set up our SSH key so that it automatically loads every time we open up Git Bash. To do that, we need to set up a bash profile file. Let's copy this command. This command opens up Nano, which is a text editor, and it creates a new file in our home directory called .bash_profile. Go ahead and enter. It'll open up Nano, and we are making a new file called .bash profile. In that file, we want to paste this. So we can just copy this, paste it in here. This is a script that will start up our SSH agent when we open up Git Bash. To save this and exit out, we can do Control X, and then it's asking here, do you want to save this modification? And I'll hit Y for yes, and then enter to submit that. And now we have a new configuration for starting our SSH agent when we start Git Bash. Next, let's set up our GitHub account. Go to github.com and click sign up. And you'll go ahead and sign up to GitHub. I already have an account, so I can't sign up. But go through the sign up process. Make sure you use your CNM email address. This will give you some extra free benefits from GitHub. Again, when choosing your username on GitHub, choose something professional. It's great if it's identifiable, if they can tell who you are so that they can match up your resume or your whatever promotion you're doing for yourself, whether it be with clients or prospective employers. And now, once you are signed up to GitHub, we're going to add our SSH key. To add our SSH key on GitHub, go over to your profile image here. Since we're new on GitHub, we may have not set one up yet, so you probably have some pixel art here. Click on that and go to Settings. And then in Settings, we want to go down to SSH and GPG keys. Click on that. I have some keys already set up here for different computers I've had. We want to click New SSH key, and we name it here. I recommend you name this your computer name, meaning maybe a model and a make for your computer, because your SSH keys are unique to your computer. If you get a new computer, you'll make a new SSH key. You're not going to copy it over from there. You'll delete it off your old computer if you get rid of your old computer. It would be device specific. So here I'll say this is my ThinkPad E7. All right. And I want to paste my key here. That means I need to go back to my terminal and select this key and hit Control C to copy it. And I can click back over here and Control V to paste it. Now, if it's gone from your terminal and you need to get it back, you can use this same command we did before, cat tilde slash dot SSH slash ID underbar ED 25519 dot pub. If you need to get your SSH key again, you can go back to the instructions, copy this part, paste it here in your terminal and hit enter, and you'll get your key again. Once you've pasted your SSH key in here, you can just click add SSH key and it will add it. Now you should be able to access GitHub using your SSH key. Let's test that out. To test to see if it worked all right, use this command, SSH space tac capital T space git at github.com. So you can copy this or type it in, paste it here, hit enter. And it's going to say something that seems a little weird. And it's saying the authenticity of the host, github.com, can't be established. Your key fingerprint is such and such. This key is not known by any other names. Are you sure you want to continue connecting? This is normal. This is the first time we've connected to GitHub using this SSH key. We will get a message like this saying, do you really want to do this? Is this who you are expecting to connect to? And yeah, we want to connect to GitHub. This is what we want. So here we can say yes and hit enter. And it will say something else a little odd. Warning, permanently added github.com to the list of known hosts. Hi, Marty Bonacci. You've successfully authenticated, but GitHub does not provide shell access. And that is true. GitHub isn't going to give us shell access, but it lets us validate who we are with them using this key. And what it's saying here is that now we'll remember each other. In the terminal, if I hit up arrow, I can get prior commands. So if I want to do the same command again, I can hit up arrow and hit enter. And it's going to give me a different message. Now it's not asking me if I'm sure that I want to access this site. It's already asked me that. And it's already verified that, yes, this is what I want to do. Now, if you've been accessing using your SSH key before and you get a message like that first one where we got asking, are you sure you want to do this? Are you sure we are who you think we are? Then you would be concerned. So from now on, you won't get that initial message. All right, our next step, step 5, set up deep dive server access. To do this, we want to go to ddcwebstudent.cnm.edu and enter in your CNM username. This is just your username, not your whole email address, and your CNM password. And here we have a spot where we can add our SSH key. You won't have a whole bunch of SSH keys like I have here, but go ahead and add your SSH key down here. If we've copied and pasted some other commands since then, we can hop back over to our terminal and either copy our SSH key, and make sure you copy it exactly in its entirety when you do this. We either copy it there, or we can enter in the CAT command to display our SSH key. So we'll go ahead and paste that key in here and click add SSH key, and it will add that key. So SSH key added. Okay. And now we can test that connection with this command. Now we'll have to modify this command. It has in here a spot for your username. This command is SSH, and then it's your CNM username or the username on the server. Now, we've already established for you that your username on the server is going to be your CNM username, and then @, and then DDC TAC web, TAC student.cnm.edu. Click enter, and it will ask us a similar question like it did on GitHub, saying, hey, you haven't connected to this before. Is this who you think you're connecting to? And do you really want to connect? Yes, I do. Type yes and hit enter. And it will say, hey, now you're connected. It said all kinds of stuff here. There is a change. There's something that's different now. When we were working on our own computer in our own terminal in Git Bash, we had this different prompt associated with you as your user and your computer, right? Now we have a prompt down here that's different. This command prompt says Ambonacci at Bootcamp Tech Web. Yours will probably say your CNM username at Bootcamp Tech Web. We're actually accessing a computer in the cloud called a server, and we're working inside that computer. So great, we've got access to it. Awesome. We could just type exit and exit out of it. All we needed was to set up access. So I'll type exit, and we'll see that now we have our command prompt. We're now working back on our own computer. Back over to our instructions. And the next part is to install Node.js. There's a link here to nodejs.org, and we're going to install the long-term support or LTS version. We can go to download and make sure it says LTS here. It does. And just click the Windows installer, and it will start downloading it. And it looks like it's already downloaded. Go ahead and click to install it. Click next. I'm going to accept the terms. Click next again. Yes, we'll accept the default location, so I'll click next. Yes, we'll accept this and click next. We don't want to install these, what it calls necessary tools. We don't need them, so don't check that box. Click next. And then we'll go ahead and click install here and click finish. We can check our version of Node and NPM here. That'll be done in the terminal. We'll need to restart our Git Bash terminal for this. I'm going to go ahead and close this. When we need a new Git Bash terminal, we can go down to our little search here and type in Git, and Git Bash will pop up. So we can open up Git Bash. It's asking me for my passphrase. So when we open up Git Bash new, we have to enter in our passphrase for our SSH key. Now our key is available for us to use if we wanted to connect to the student server or GitHub. Let's check to see if we have Node installed properly. We'll type in node tac version and hit enter. And you should have this version number or higher. And let's double check too. We have NPM, which will come with Node. We'll do that by typing in NPM space tac version, and you should have this version or higher. Awesome. We are now ready to continue with the pre-work. The next part of the pre-work is to configure WebStorm. There's a link here for you to move on to that. Good luck continuing with your pre-work.